The stars were calm that evening over Earth, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. From the observation deck of the Deep Space Observatory in Geneva, Dr. Myra Solis stared at the screen, frowning. Strange energy waves were appearing. In the remote region of space, known as the Black Spiral Zone, the readings were unlike anything the scientists had ever seen before. These patterns, they don't make sense, Mira said softly, her voice tense. Her colleague, Commander Rayenholt, stood beside her, arms crossed, staring at the same screen. He was a tall man, with sharp eyes that could detect a subtle change in any star's behavior. Could it be a natural phenomenon? He asked, though he already doubted it. The waves had a kind of order, almost as if they were deliberate signals. But what could possibly exist in that part of the galaxy to send such precise energy patterns? Mira shook her head. No, Rayon, this isn't natural. These are warnings. Something is happening in that zone, and it's dangerous. Across the globe, the Earth Council was already in emergency session. Screens lit up the walls of the council chamber, showing real-time projections from the observatory. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders argued over what action to take. Send a message to the Galactic Union immediately, one counselor said. We cannot afford to ignore this. If the Ninth Fleet ventures into that area, they may never return. The Galactic Union had always treated Earth as a young and inexperienced member of the interstellar community. Most races thought humans were curious, but naive, capable of observing space, but not understanding it. Still, Earth had earned some respect for its technological advancements, particularly in energy manipulation and defensive systems. A message was drafted. It's precise and urgent. Warning: the Black Spiral Zone exhibits abnormal energy fluctuations. Any fleet entering may be at extreme risk. We advise immediate caution. Within hours, the message was sent through the fastest interstellar relay. But Earth received no meaningful response. The Union leaders, confident in their fleets and their own technology, dismissed the warning. They overestimate themselves, Rayan muttered to Mira. They think Earth is exaggerating again. Mira frowned. Or maybe they're underestimating what's out there. And if that is true... She did not finish the thought, but both knew the implications. Meanwhile, preparations were already underway in the distant star systems. The Union's Ninth Fleet, a powerful assembly of cruisers, carriers, and scout ships, was being mobilized. Its mission was simple: enter the Black Spiral Zone, investigate, and report back. The Ninth Fleet commander, a confident alien named Veltrax, did not pay attention to Earth's warnings. To him, humans were cautious, fearful of the unknown. We have technology, he boasted to his officers. Nothing in that sector can harm us. These humans speak from fear, not knowledge. On Earth, Mira and Rayan watched the deployment with growing concern. The Ninth Fleet slipped past the borders. Entering the edge of the Black Spiral Zone, Rayan clenched his fists. They won't know what's coming, he said grimly. The energy waves in the Black Spiral Zone began to shift. They moved faster, forming shapes and patterns that resembled protective barriers, almost like a net woven from light itself. Earth's advanced sensors detected the first strange anomaly as the Ninth Fleet crossed the threshold. Dr. Solis leaned over the console, her hands trembling, already triggering something intelligent. Rayan turned sharply. Intelligent? Are you saying it's alive? Mira shook her head. I don't know. Doubt it is reacting. To the fleet, to their energy, it's aware of them. Back on the Ninth Fleet's flagship, Veltrax observed the readings on his own bridge. Nothing appeared threatening at first. But slowly, the energy waves started interfering with the fleet's sensors. Minor fluctuations grew into massive distortions. Navigation systems flickered. Communication channels crackled. Report, Veltrax barked. His voice echoed in the control room. Officers rushed to check the systems. Commander, sensors are unstable, one officer replied. The readings are inconsistent. The space around us doesn't match any known charts. Veltrax's brow furrowed. Keep scanning. We will understand it. Earth is wrong to fear this place. The more they advanced, the stranger things became. A cruiser on the fleet's left flank began reporting sudden gaps in space. Areas where stars appeared stretched and twisted. Another ship vanished for a moment from the radar, only to reappear seconds later in a different position, on Earth. Mira and Rayan watched the data transmitted from the fleet's instruments. They exchanged a worried glance. Rayan, Myra said quietly, "They're not prepared. They don't understand the laws of this zone. It's not just a region of space. It's unstable, alive maybe, protective." Rayan's jaw tightened. "We need to send a stronger warning before it's too late." They drafted another message, more urgent this time. It warned that any attempt to navigate the black spiral zone with standard warp engines or reactor power could trigger catastrophic consequences. They even included suggested maneuvers to reduce energy signatures, hoping the Union would take heed. But the response was dismissive. "The Ninth Fleet is experienced. They will adapt." Humans again exaggerate danger. Meanwhile, the Ninth Fleet moved deeper. Slowly, the energy distortions began to interfere with the fleet's power systems. Lights flickered. Shields hummed dangerously. Communication relays stuttered, scrambling transmissions. Veltrax began to feel uneasy. This was not just a technical anomaly. The patterns seemed to anticipate the fleet's movements. It's almost as if they were being guided or tested. On the flagship's observation deck, he gazed at the strange light patterns ahead. They were beautiful, almost hypnotic, but undeniably unnatural. A cold sense of fear crept into his mind, though he refused to admit it aloud. "Report," he demanded. But no officer had a clear answer. The fleet was beginning to experience what the Earth scientists had feared. The zone reacted to advanced technology, particularly large energy outputs. Back on Earth, Mira's fingers flew over the console. She analyzed every detail, running simulations of the fleet's path through the zone. "They won't make it through if they keep their engines at full power," she muttered. Rayan placed a hand on her shoulder. "They need to understand that Earth is not exaggerating. I doubt they ever will until it's too late." As night fell over Earth, the Deep Space Observatory's monitors flashed a new alert. The Ninth Fleet signal had gone silent completely. No distress call, no warning. The fleet simply vanished from the tracking systems. Mira's eyes widened. "They're gone." Rayan's heart sank. All of them, yes, the entire Ninth Fleet. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Leaders shouted, asking for explanations. Scientists scrambled to interpret the readings. No one had ever seen anything like this before. A fleet of this size could not simply disappear. Mira turned to Rayan. "This isn't just space anomalies. Something inside that zone is powerful, something beyond our current understanding." Rayan nodded grimly. "And we warned them, tried to stop them, and they didn't listen." The Earth Council made an immediate decision. While the Galactic Union scrambled to respond, Earth began to prepare its own mission. If the Ninth Fleet still existed somewhere in the zone, Earth would be the ones to find them. Commander Rayan Holt was chosen to lead the expedition aboard the EHS Horizon, state-of-the-art human exploration vessel equipped with sensors capable of detecting anomalies far beyond the Union's technology. As the Horizon left Earth orbit, Mira watched from the command center. "We may be the only ones who can save them," she whispered, and deep in the black spiral zone, the Ninth Fleet floated in silence, trapped in a space unlike any known to science. Strange energies pulsed around them, bending reality. The fleet had entered a realm that ignored conventional physics, a place where survival depended not on strength or weapons, but on understanding. Earth had warned them. They had ignored the warning. Now, only humanity could intervene before it was too late. The galaxy felt quieter than usual. Even the distant stars seemed dimmer, as if space itself was holding its breath. On Earth, the disappearance of the Ninth Fleet dominated every news channel, every council meeting, and every discussion among scientists and strategists. The shock was almost universal. How could an entire fleet, one of the largest in the Galactic Union, vanish without a trace? In the deep command center of Earth's Space Defense Network, Dr. Mira Solis and Commander Rayan Holt stood in front of a massive holographic display. The black and white blips of stars and ships filled the room, but the Ninth Fleet's presence was gone. Not a single signal remained. "This can't be happening," Rayan muttered. His hands clenched into fists. "We tracked their route perfectly. They should still be somewhere in the zone, even if damaged.
Ow.
Mira shook her head slowly. The zone. It's not like other regions of space. It's reactive. Alive, maybe? It reacts to energy, to movement, to advanced machinery. They didn't just vanish, they were trapped. And now the Union has no idea what's happening. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Union convened an emergency session. Leaders from multiple races filled the grand chamber aboard the flagship Celestium. They argued, shouted, and blamed one another. Some claimed sabotage. Others insisted on sending the 10th Fleet to investigate. Earth, of course, sent another warning. This time it was stronger, more urgent. Commander Rayan and Dr. Solis were directly involved in drafting the message. Attention Galactic Union. Do not send another fleet. The Black Spiral Zone is unstable. Advanced reactors and warp engines trigger unknown reactions. Any fleet entering risks total destruction. The 9th Fleet may still be alive, but only under conditions far different from normal space. Proceeding without caution will result in further loss. Hours passed. No reply came. Or rather, the Union's reply was predictable. They would send the 10th Fleet anyway. Pride, overconfidence, and a refusal to acknowledge human knowledge outweighed caution. Mira's fingers hovered over her console. She could almost feel the energy waves from the Black Spiral Zone, even from this distance. They don't understand, she said quietly. They think technology alone makes them safe. Rayan's voice was calm, but firm. Then it's up to us. If the 9th Fleet is still alive, Earth has to find them. The EHS Horizon, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, was already being prepped. It was a sleek ship, built for speed, maneuverability, and long-range scanning. Unlike Union ships, it did not rely on massive energy reactors. Instead, it used a carefully balanced combination of solar energy, advanced quantum drives, and energy dampeners designed to avoid triggering reactions in unstable zones. Commander Rayan led the mission. The Horizon's crew was small but elite. Scientists, engineers, and pilots trained to operate under extreme conditions. Each member understood the stakes. The 9th Fleet, thousands of Union officers, might still be alive but trapped in an environment humans had never encountered, as the Horizon prepared to leave orbit. Mira Solis addressed the crew via video link. Her voice was steady, but the concern in her eyes was unmistakable. Everyone, she said, the situation is serious. The 9th Fleet entered a region unlike any we know. Space itself and the Black Spiral Zone behaves unpredictably. Communication may be impossible, and our sensors will face distortions. But this is not just an exploration mission. This is a rescue mission. Human ingenuity, observation, and caution may be the only things keeping those officers alive. Every decision you make will matter. Earth is counting on you. The crew nodded, some quietly nervous, others determined. Commander Holt gave a short, firm speech. We go in prepared. We do not rush blindly. We observe, adapt, and act. The 9th Fleet depends on us. Humanity will not fail. With that, the Horizon left Earth's orbit, breaking into the black void of space. For hours, the journey was quiet. Sensors scanned every star, asteroid, and energy anomaly. All was normal. Until the edge of the Black Spiral Zone appeared. The zone was unlike anything the Horizon crew had imagined. The stars ahead were warped, stretched, and distorted. Light itself seemed to curve, forming strange loops and patterns. Small flashes of energy darted across the region, some harmless, some powerful enough to interfere with the Horizon's shields. Commander, said Lieutenant Caravet, the Horizon's chief science officer, the energy patterns are active. They're reacting to us already. Rand leaned over the console, eyes sharp. Reduce engine output. Switch to the dampeners. We don't want to trigger anything unnecessarily. The crew worked quickly, adjusting the ship's systems. The Horizon's unique energy signature allowed it to slip past the first layer of distortions. Yet even as they moved forward, the sensors began picking up faint echoes, fragments of the 9th Fleet's communications. broken, fragmented, distorted beyond recognition. Mira's voice crackled over the com. Link from Earth. We're receiving traces of the Ninth Fleet. The signals are weak, scattered, and delayed. Use caution, Rayon. Any sudden power spike could endanger the crew. As the horizon moved deeper, the strange energy began to behave in ways no one could fully understand. It twisted around the ship, forming patterns that resembled protective shields. Sensors recorded rapid fluctuations in gravitational force, magnetic fields, and even time. The crew realized something profound. The black spiral zone was not just space, it was a living environment. It observed, reacted, and perhaps judged those who entered. Hours passed. The crew faced a series of minor but unnerving disturbances. Lights flickered in the control room. Communication systems glitched. Instruments measured physical forces that should not exist. Yet the horizon adapted, relying on human intuition as much as technology. Finally, doused, they reached the approximate area where the Ninth Fleet had vanished. Space there was eerie. Nothing moved except the strange energy waves, dancing in perfect, unnatural rhythm. Rayon studied the sensors. Scans show faint readings of large energy sources, he said. Ships, probably. But they are damaged or frozen in place. Lieutenant Vei's eyes widened. Commander, could they still be alive? Rayon nodded slowly. Possibly. But we need to approach carefully. One wrong move, and we could trigger a reaction that destroys them or us. The crew prepared the horizon's external probes. Tiny drones, equipped with energy shields and sensors, were sent into the zone first. They reported back fragments of Union ship shattered hulls. Damaged systems, but in some areas power signatures remained active. Some ships seemed to be preserved, almost suspended in space, as if held by the energy itself. This is incredible, Vei said, her voice full of awe. They're not destroyed. They're contained. Preserved in some kind of spatial bubble. Rayon's expression hardened. Then the Ninth Fleet can be saved. We just have to figure out how to get them out without causing a collapse. But even as they analyzed the situation, a new problem appeared. The energy patterns began to form moving shapes, almost like the zone itself was testing the horizon. The ship experienced sudden, brief fluctuations in gravity. Instruments recorded impossible readings. The crew realized that they were entering not just a spatial anomaly, but an environment with intelligence, capable of responding to their presence. Commander Vei said, voice tense, it's responding to our energy. Our shields, engines, even the lights are affecting it. Rain's jaw tightened. Then we reduce all unnecessary output. We proceed slowly. Observation first, action second. They moved cautiously, inching closer to the faint traces of the Ninth Fleet. The energy form shifted, sometimes blocking paths, sometimes opening new ones. Every maneuver had to be precise. The horizon relied on a delicate balance of human judgment and advanced technology, a combination that no Union fleet had used in the Black Spiral Zone. Back on Earth, Mira monitored the horizon's progress with a mixture of hope and fear. Every new reading could be the difference between life and death for thousands of Union officers. They're doing it, she whispered to herself. They're moving carefully. They might actually save them. Suddenly, a sensor alarm sounded on the horizon. A ripple of energy, larger and faster than before, swept toward the ship. The crew braced themselves. For a moment, time seemed to distort. The stars streaked and bent unnaturally. Rayon steadied himself in the captain's chair. Hold steady. Dampeners on full. Let it pass. The energy wave passed, and the horizon's systems stabilized. The crew exhaled. It had been a warning from the Black Spiral Zone. It could harm them, but it had not chosen to. For now, Lieutenant Vei's voice was quiet. It's like it's testing us. Seeing if we belong here, Rayon nodded. And we're proving that humans can face what others cannot. Earth warned them. We understand, and we adapt. That's why we're still here. The horizon continued into the deep shadows of the Black Spiral Zone, determined to find the Ninth Fleet and bring them home. The danger was immense, the unknown terrifying. But humanity's courage and careful observation kept them moving forward. Somewhere ahead, in the twisting void, the Ninth Fleet waited trapped, isolated but not entirely lost. And now, for the first time, hope came not from the Union, but from Earth itself. The horizon glided silently into the heart of the black spiral zone. Outside the reinforced observation windows, space twisted and folded in impossible ways. Stars stretched into streaks of light that seemed alive, moving in patterns that no human map could explain. The crew watched in awe, their eyes wide as the universe itself seemed to bend around them. "Commander," said Lieutenant Caravay, the ship's chief science officer. Her voice tight with focus, "Our sensors are detecting the remains of Union ships. But the readings are strange. Hulls appear intact in some areas, completely broken in others. Energy signatures are fragmented, and some are still active." Rayan leaned forward, studying the data. "Then they aren't destroyed. They're trapped. The zone is holding them, or isolating them somehow." This is exactly what Earth warned about. The crew fell silent. The implications were staggering. Thousands of officers could still be alive somewhere within the zone, preserved by forces they could barely understand. But rescuing them would not be simple. The energy around the ships pulsed unpredictably, reacting to every movement, every power spike. One wrong maneuver could destroy what remained. "Prepare the probes," Rayan ordered. "We need to map the area in detail before we attempt anything closer." Tiny drones were launched from the horizon, their small energy signatures designed to avoid triggering the zone's reactive patterns. The probes sent back images and data that made even the most experienced crew members uneasy. Union cruisers floated in odd positions, some twisted as if gravity itself had failed them, some untouched. Tiny flashes of light ran along the halls as if the zone were testing them. Lieutenant Vey spoke again, pointing to the display. "Look at this section here. Several ships appear to be in some kind of suspended state. Their engines are still running, but at minimal output. It's almost as if the zone froze them." Rayan's eyes narrowed. "That must be where the survivors are. We need to get closer, but slowly. We can't risk activating whatever is holding them." The horizon moved forward with extreme caution. Every meter required careful adjustment. The ship's dampeners worked perfectly to reduce its energy signature, but the crew felt a growing tension. The black spiral zone was not merely a location in space, it was a force that could interact with their minds, their perceptions, and their technology. Hours passed. The horizon advanced, dodging energy ripples, strange distortions, and areas of warped gravity. The crew remained alert, their hands ready on controls, their eyes scanning the instruments for any sign of danger. Finally, they reached the first Union cruiser. It was a large vessel, heavily armored, its hull scratched and bent from unknown forces. The sensors indicated life signs faint, but detectable. The crew held their breath. Commander Vey said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We have survivors. Just a few, but they're alive. Their life support systems are functioning at minimal capacity." Rayan's expression hardened. "Prepare a retrieval plan. We'll send the drones first, then move the horizon carefully. No sudden energy surges. We cannot provoke the zone." The drones approached the cruiser. They analyzed hull integrity, measured energy fluctuations, and calculated safe pathways for the horizon. The crew watched tensely as the data streamed in. The patterns of light around the cruiser shifted, almost like living creatures, reacting to the drones. Every moment, the energy seemed to study them, testing their intentions. Myra Solis, watching from Earth via communications, spoke urgently. "Rayan, the patterns are intelligent. They're not trying to destroy you yet, but they are aware of your presence. Treat them as living entities. Approach carefully." Rayan nodded. "Understood, Mira. We're moving slowly." The horizon inched closer to the cruiser. Its dampened engines emitted a soft hum as the ship navigated through warped space. Outside, stars seemed to bend and twist, forming spirals that pulsed with faint energy. The crew felt an eerie sensation, as if the zone itself was observing their every move. Suddenly, One of the horizon's sensors detected movement, a shadow of energy that did not belong to the ship or the cruiser. It moved quickly, almost slipping through the hull, disappearing and reappearing several meters away. Lieutenant Vey pointed at the screen. "Commander, something is moving inside the zone. It's not mechanical. It's alive, I think, but not like anything we know." Rayan's jaw tightened. "Keep focus. Our priority is the survivors. Let's not get distracted." The Horizon carefully aligned itself with the cruiser. Tiny docking arms extended, their energy signatures minimized. Slowly, carefully, the arms attached to the damaged hull. The crew held their breath as the retrieval systems engaged. Inside the cruiser, the survivors stirred. Weak, frightened, but alive. Some were unconscious from lack of oxygen. Others were disoriented, struggling to comprehend what had happened. Rayan activated the communication system. His voice echoed gently inside the cruiser's corridors. "This is Commander Rayan Holt of the EHS Horizon. You are not alone. Earth has sent help. We are here to rescue you." A crackling response came back. Who are you?" A voice weak yet filled with relief. "We thought we were gone forever." "You're safe now," Rayan replied calmly. "Stay still. We're moving you to the horizon." The process took hours. Each survivor had to be carefully transported, using containment pods designed to stabilize energy and gravity fluctuations. The zone reacted to every movement, forming light barriers, distortions, and occasional bursts of energy. The crew adapted, learning quickly how the zone responded. Reading its patterns like a language, as the last survivors were moved aboard the Horizon, the crew paused to assess their situation. The Union officers were weak, but alive. Life support systems aboard the Horizon stabilized them. Medics began treating injuries. Commander Vey said, "We need to move. The zone's reactions are growing stronger. The longer we stay, the higher the risk." Rayan nodded. "Set a course for the exit point. Slow and steady. Keep shields minimal, engines dampened, and maintain constant monitoring. We're leaving, but carefully." The Horizon began its slow retreat. Outside, the black spiral zone seemed to shift, forming patterns that blocked their path. Energy arcs stretched across space, pulsing with increasing intensity. The crew felt the zone's awareness growing, as if it had realized the survivors were leaving. Mira's voice crackled over the comm. "Rayan, your exit path shows increasing instability. Keep calm, focus on the patterns. Let the zone guide you as much as possible. Avoid sudden movements." The Horizon adjusted its course, following subtle cues in the energy waves. Slowly, they navigated through the maze of distortions, past the areas of warped gravity, and away from the twisted stars. Every second was tense, every calculation critical. At one point, a massive ripple of energy swept toward the ship. It shook the Horizon, rattled the consoles, and made the crew grip their stations. The zone's light patterns twisted violently, almost like a warning. Rayan steadied the ship. "Hold steady. Dampeners full. No sudden bursts." The ripple passed, and the Horizon continued its careful retreat. Hours later, the zone's distortions became less frequent. The crew felt a sense of relief, though they remained vigilant. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the Horizon emerged from the edge of the black spiral zone. Stars returned to normal. Space flowed naturally, and the strange energy waves faded into faint echoes. The survivors, though exhausted, were alive. And the Horizon had succeeded where the Ninth Fleet had failed. Rayan allowed himself a brief sigh of relief. "We did it," he said quietly. "We found them. We brought them back." Lieutenant Vey smiled wearily. "Yes, and we learned a lot about the zone, about how it reacts, and maybe even why. We have to report this to Earth and to the Union. They need to understand the danger." Myra Sola's voice came through, filled with pride. "You've done humanity proud," he warned them, Rayan. "We acted. And now we've saved lives that others could not." But even as the Horizon headed toward safe space, the crew knew one thing. The black spiral zone had not been fully understood. It was alive, intelligent, and reactive. And the 10th Fleet, heading blindly toward the zone, was still out there, unaware of the true danger awaiting them. Rayanne gazed out the observation window at the stars, returning to their usual positions. "Earth may have saved the Ninth Fleet," he said softly, "but our work isn't finished. If the Union doesn't listen, more lives will be at risk. And next time, it may not be as easy." The Horizon sailed forward, carrying its precious cargo, but the shadows of the Black Spiral Zone lingered in their minds. Humanity had taken the first step into a mystery far greater than any galaxy had seen, and the journey was only beginning. The EHS Horizon drifted slowly out of the Black Spiral Zone. Carrying the surviving officers of the Ninth Fleet, the Union officers were quiet, exhausted, and disoriented. For many, the experience had challenged everything they had ever known about space, technology, and survival. Yet, they were alive, thanks to humans. Back on Earth, news of the rescue spread quickly. Crowds gathered around communication terminals in awe and pride. Humanity had not only survived the danger of the Black Spiral Zone, but had successfully rescued one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. The Council convened immediately. Myra Solis stood at the front of the chamber, pointing at the holographic display showing the Ninth Fleet officers being stabilized aboard the Horizon. "We warned them," she said calmly, her voice firm. "We predicted the energy reactions, the distortions, and the risks. And we acted. Earth has proven its understanding and capability." Counselor Haroon, a seasoned politician, nodded. "This is unprecedented. The Galactic Union underestimated us, ignored our warning, and almost caused a disaster. Now, we have evidence that Earth's technology and human strategy are capable of saving lives that others cannot." The conversation grew urgent. Intelligence reports indicated that the 10th Fleet, the next Union fleet, was already en route to the Black Spiral Zone. They were unaware of the true nature of the dangers within. Their massive energy reactors and full-power engines could trigger catastrophic reactions, potentially destroying the entire fleet and destabilizing the zone itself. Reinhold leaned forward, his expression grim. "If the 10th Fleet enters the zone, they will repeat the mistakes of the 9th. They are too powerful, too loud, and too slow to adapt. Earth cannot wait for the Union to learn through disaster. We must act." Mira added, "We can't simply send a warning. The 10th Fleet will dismiss it as we predicted. The only way to prevent this is to intervene directly. Earth must go into the zone first, prepare the environment, and guide the fleet safely, or stop them if necessary." A quiet determination settled over the room. Earth had done what no other race could, act decisively where others hesitated. They began assembling a plan. The Horizon, with its advanced sensors, would return to the zone to stabilize key points and communicate directly with any approaching fleet. Meanwhile, the rescued 9th Fleet officers were debriefed. Their testimonies confirmed what Mira and Rayon had suspected. The Black Spiral Zone was intelligent and reactive, but not malicious. Its reactions were triggered by large energy outputs, advanced weapon systems, and rapid movements. In other words, the Union fleets, with their massive reactors and high-powered engines, were the danger, not the zone itself. Captain Veltrax, the 9th Fleet commander, spoke during the debriefing. His voice was heavy with regret. "I ignored Earth's warnings. I believed in our technology alone. We paid the price. Humanity acted when we could not. Your people saved us. I have no words sufficient to describe my gratitude." Rayon looked at him steadily. "It is not about gratitude. It is about understanding. Earth warned you because we studied, observed, and adapted. That is how you survive in a universe far bigger and more complex than your calculations." As the Horizon prepared to return to the Black Spiral Zone, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. New modifications were added. Energy dampeners were strengthened. Sensors were recalibrated to read the zone's subtle patterns. And a prototype device called the Harmonic Stabilizer was installed. It was designed to harmonize the zone's energy, reducing violent fluctuations and allowing humans and others to move safely through the reactive space. RAN gathered his crew for a briefing. "We know the risks. The zone is reactive, intelligent, and capable of unpredictable behavior. But we also know its patterns. We can stabilize critical areas and guide the 10th Fleet safely. Or, if necessary, we must prevent them from entering until it is safe. Humanity cannot allow the same mistakes to be repeated. Oh, the crew nodded, understanding the gravity of their mission. They were about to venture deeper into the black spiral zone than ever before. Facing an environment no human or alien fleet had survived unscathed, the horizon slipped into the zone once more. The stars twisted, light bent, and gravity shifted unpredictably. Every movement was measured, every adjustment carefully calculated. The crew felt the zone's presence, as if it was watching and testing them again. Commander Lieutenant Vey said, pointing at the displays, "The patterns are changing. The zone is reacting to our return, it seems. Cautious, observing. Almost as if it recognizes us now." Brian nodded. "Good. We need its cooperation, not its destruction. Begin deploying the harmonic stabilizer. Focus on the central region where the 10th Fleet is likely to enter." The stabilizer activated with a soft hum. Waves of harmonized energy spread through the surrounding space, reducing the intensity of the zone's reactive patterns. The crew observed carefully, ensuring that the device did not provoke further disturbances. The stars seemed to straighten, distortions softened, and the once violent energy ripples became gentle waves. Mira, watching from Earth, let out a small sigh of relief. "It's working," she said. "You've managed to calm the zone, at least temporarily." But the crew knew the work was far from done. The 10th Fleet was still approaching. Unlike the horizon, they were massive, loud, and unaware of the delicate balance needed to navigate the zone. Any misstep could trigger a catastrophic reaction. Hours later, faint signals appeared on the horizon's sensors. The 10th Fleet was entering the outer edge of the zone. Their massive engines glowed brightly, powerful energy waves radiating outward. The zone began to shift, reacting violently to their presence. Rayon spoke quickly. "We need to guide them. Prepare visual markers, deploy energy pathways, and create safe corridors using the stabilizer. We must make it impossible for them to stray or trigger a reaction." The crew worked quickly, their fingers moving across consoles as they activated the stabilizer in multiple zones. Light arcs formed soft corridors through the twisted space, guiding the massive fleet along a safe path. The zone pulsed in response, sometimes resisting, sometimes adapting. But the harmonic waves kept the reactions under control. Veltrax, observing from the horizon, spoke quietly to Rayan. "You are showing them what Earth warned us about, and proving that human strategy is more than technology alone." "This is remarkable." Rihan allowed himself a small nod. "It's not just strategy. It's observation, adaptation, and understanding. That is why humans survive where others fail." As the 10th Fleet followed the corridor carefully, the zone tested them with minor fluctuations. A sudden gravitational wave tilted one of the larger cruisers. Quick adjustments prevented damage. A short burst of energy from the stabilizer restored balance. Slowly, the massive fleet advanced without triggering catastrophe. Hours passed. The crew worked tirelessly, maintaining the harmonized corridors and monitoring energy patterns. Each success built confidence. Each near disaster tested their skills. The Horizon's crew proved that careful planning, patience, and understanding could overcome even the most dangerous environments in the galaxy. Finally, the 10th Fleet reached the inner region safely, guided entirely by the Horizon. The crew of the massive fleet was astonished. For the first time, they fully understood Earth's warnings. Commander Rayan's voice came through communications. "Galactic Union, you have ignored Earth's warning once. Now you have seen the truth. The black spiral zone is reactive, intelligent, and dangerous. Proceed with caution. Follow the guidance we have provided. Your lives and the lives of your officers depend on it." A silence followed. Then, for the first time, the Union leaders admitted their underestimation. Captain Veltrax, speaking for the 9th Fleet officers, added, "Earth has saved us again. We ignored the warnings before. We cannot do so now." Humanity understands what others cannot. Mira Solis smiled faintly from Earth. It worked. We've prevented another disaster. We've shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. But Rayon knew the mission was not over. The black spiral zone remained unpredictable. Though stabilized for now, it could react again if disturbed improperly. The 10th Fleet now understood the danger, but it was up to humanity to ensure that respect and caution were always observed. The Horizon had succeeded in its mission. It had rescued the 9th Fleet, stabilized critical parts of the zone, and guided the 10th Fleet safely. Humanity had proven itself capable of understanding, adapting, and protecting where others had failed. As the crew rested briefly, Rayan looked out the observation window at the stars, which now flowed naturally around them. "We warned them," he said softly. "We acted, and we have proven our worth. The galaxy will remember that humans do not just survive, they lead, protect, and adapt. That is our strength." Myra's voice, calm and proud, came over the cum. "Earth saved lives today, Rayan, not because of raw power, but because we understand, observe, and act wisely. That is what sets us apart." Outside, the black spiral zone pulsed faintly, no longer hostile, no longer unpredictable. Humanity had earned its respect, and for the first time, the galaxy knew that Earth and its people were forces to be counted on. The EHS Horizon glided steadily through calm space, carrying the rescued officers of the 9th Fleet and guiding the 10th Fleet. Safely along the corridors of the stabilized black spiral zone, humanity had proven its skill. Intelligence and courage, but Commander Rayan Holt knew that the mission was far from over. The black spiral zone, though temporarily calm, remained a force unlike any other. Its energy pulsed faintly, like the heartbeat of a living organism. And it was aware of the humans, the Union fleets, and their technology. A single misstep could undo all their careful work. "Commander," Lieutenant Caravay said, breaking the silence, "the 10th Fleet is fully within the stabilized path. But the zone's energy is still uneven in the central area. Any large movement of power there could destabilize everything." Morane's expression hardened. "Then we must ensure that area is perfectly stabilized. The harmonic stabilizer can manage most fluctuations, but the center requires precision. Someone has to place the device at the heart of the zone. I will go myself." The crew looked at him in surprise. This part of the zone was far more dangerous than anything they had navigated before. Distortions bent space itself, gravity fluctuated unpredictably, and energy waves pulsed with intelligence, testing any who entered. Yet Rayan's calm determination inspired them. "You will not go alone," said Vey. "We will support you remotely and provide guidance. But you will need to make the final adjustments yourself." Rayan nodded. "Prepare the stabilizer deployment pods. We move carefully and steadily. We have one chance to prevent catastrophe." The Horizon maneuvered. Closer to the center of the black spiral zone, the stars outside twisted into spirals of light and shadow. Gravity waves pushed against the ship from all directions. The crew monitored the harmonic stabilizer's remote systems, watching as it projected beams of harmonized energy outward. These beams interacted with the zone's own energy, creating semi-stable corridors, but the central area was still volatile. "Commander, the core region is extremely unstable," Vey warned. "Any sudden spike in energy could trigger a chain reaction. You need to be precise." Rayan adjusted his flight controls, guiding a small deployment pod toward the heart of the zone. The pods dampened, engines minimized energy output, allowing it to slip through the shifting corridors of warp space. The pod entered the central region. Outside, distortions bent light in impossible ways. The stars seemed to ripple and shift as if reacting to the pod itself. Gravity twisted unpredictably, pushing and pulling against the small craft. Inside the pod, Rayan felt the immense power of the zone. It was alive. It watched him. It tested his intentions. The harmonizer hummed softly, its energy waves merging with the zone's pulsations. For a moment, it felt as if time itself slowed, each second stretching endlessly. Then the zone reacted. Energy arcs shot toward the pod, testing its shields. The waves were not hostile. They were probes, sensing the intentions of the human within. Rayan's hands were steady on the controls. He guided the pod carefully, following the subtle cues in the zone's energy, reading the patterns like a language he had never learned but somehow understood. Almost there, he muttered. The pod reached the central point. Rayan activated the stabilizer fully. A surge of harmonized energy rippled outward, pushing against the zone's distortions. Light twisted and straightened. Gravity waves evened out. And space itself seemed to sigh with relief. Back on the horizon, the crew monitored the data in awe. "It's working," Faye said softly. "The zone is responding positively. It's calm." For the first time, Rain remained inside the pod, carefully adjusting the stabilizer's output. The zone's energy pulsed around him like a living being, testing, judging, but ultimately accepting. The central area, once the most dangerous and unpredictable, now became stable enough for the 10th Fleet. To navigate safely, the Horizon relayed a message to the 10th Fleet. Proceed through the central region slowly. Follow the stabilized corridors. You are safe if you maintain caution. The massive Union ships moved cautiously, their engines and reactors carefully moderated. Every meter was tense, but thanks to humanity's intervention, no catastrophe occurred. The 10th Fleet followed the safe path, merging from the heart of the Black Spiral Zone without incident. Commander Veltrax, watching the operation, finally spoke aloud. "I underestimated humanity. Earth has not only rescued my fleet, but has saved the 10th Fleet from disaster. I cannot express enough respect and gratitude." Rihan guided the pod back to the horizon. The harmonic stabilizer's energy waves continued to interact with the zone, ensuring stability while the fleets exited. The crew watched the final Union ships leave the hazardous region. The Black Spiral Zone remained reactive, but its pulse was steady, controlled. And calm for now, as the last 10th Fleet cruiser exited safely, a silence fell over the horizon's bridge. The crew exhaled, relief washing over them. For the first time in days, they could appreciate the scope of their achievement. They had saved thousands of lives and prevented what could have been a catastrophic disaster for the galaxy. Myra Solis's voice came through the communications link. "Commander, your work is extraordinary. Humanity has proven its value not through strength alone, but through understanding, observation, and careful action. The galaxy will remember this day." Rayan allowed himself a small smile. "We acted because it was necessary. We observed, we adapted, and we led when others could not. Humanity has shown that caution, intelligence, and courage are as powerful as any weapon." Veltrax approached the horizon via long-distance video link. His face was solemn but respectful. "Commander Holt, Earth's people have earned our admiration. We ignored your warnings before, and it nearly cost thousands of lives. Today your actions have proven that humans are leaders, not just observers. The 9th Fleet, the 10th Fleet, and the Union itself owe you a debt that cannot be measured in words." Rayan nodded. "It is not a debt we seek. It is the responsibility of those who understand and act wisely. Humanity warned, humanity acted. That is all that matters." The rescued officers of the 9th Fleet slowly regained their strength. Medics aboard the horizon ensured they were stable, fed, and able to rest. They were quiet, humbled, and reflective. The experience had changed them. For the first time, they saw humans not as cautious or naive, but as precise, intelligent, and capable of facing dangers others could not. Outside, the Black Spiral Zone pulsed faintly, its energy now more serene than threatening. The zone had recognized the humans' actions, understood their intentions, and allowed them to stabilize its core. The galaxy had witnessed something remarkable, not just survival, but cooperation between species, guided by knowledge, caution, and courage. Rayan stood at the horizon's observation window, looking at the stars. For days, the zone had tested them, challenged them, and pushed humanity to its limits. Yet, they had prevailed not with overwhelming power, but with understanding, patience, and precision. Mira's voice came again over the com. "Earth has acted where others failed. You have proven that human wisdom, observation, and careful planning are strengths that even the most advanced fleets must respect. This day will be remembered throughout the galaxy. Rayhan allowed himself a final, quiet thought. Humanity had saved lives, preserved fleets, and prevented disaster. But more importantly, they had earned respect and recognition that humans were not to be underestimated. The horizon set a course for Earth. The 9th Fleet survivors aboard, and the 10th Fleet following carefully behind. Communications from the Union now carried messages of gratitude and acknowledgement of Earth's unique capabilities. For the first time in centuries, humans were no longer the cautious observers of galactic affairs. They were leaders, teachers, and protectors. They had warned the galaxy, acted decisively, and saved countless lives. Humanity had truly earned its place among the stars. As the horizon moved toward home, Rayon looked back toward the fading black spiral zone. Its energy pulses still shimmered faintly. A reminder that space was alive, intelligent, and unpredictable. But humanity had proven that they could face the unknown and succeed. Earth had warned them. They had ignored the warning. But humanity had acted anyway, and in doing so, it saved the galaxy. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. Calm for the first time, and the future of humanity in the galaxy had never been brighter.